Hi, welcome to the first edition to the 21 Pilots podcast. I'm one of the hosts, Katie Hull.
And I'm Maddy Kuschel. And today we are going to be talking about
21 Pilots! So, some background on the 21 Pilots. Their band was established in 2009, and the first album released was also called 21 Pilots, so some of us just call it self-titled.
the members of the band at the time were Tyler Joseph, as he was the singer and the piano player, Nick Thomas, who played the bass guitar, and Chris Sally, who was on the drums.
Both Nick and Chris left the band in 2011. Shortly after, Josh Dunn joined the band and began playing the drums.
So the current band members are Tyler Joseph and Josh Dunn, and the origin of the name of the band 21 Pilots was Tyler was studying a play known as All My Sons by Arthur Miller, and in this play, a man commits suicide after sending 21 pilots to war in World War II with faulty airplane parts, killing all 21 pilots. He knew that the airplanes were faulty and would not work properly, but still sent them anyway for the benefit of his business.
Basically, we've got a fun suicide story.
So, one of the reasons why we really like the band is that not only is their music really good, but they have a story behind their two most recent albums, Blurry Face and Trench. And Tyler and Josh have developed this story through multiple ways of sharing it. So, it started on the album Blurry Face with one of their most popular songs, Stressed Out, which introduced the character of Blurry Face, which is Tyler's insecurities.
So, in this band, in the storyline at least, we have characters who live in the city Dima under the Niners that they worship. The Niners, they're bishops. They're called bishops. Yeah, so we have the bishops. So we have Nico and the Niners, even though he is one of the Niners. Don't get that confused. It's very confusing.
So, Nico is Blurry Face. That's the name of Blurry Face, which was later discovered in the next album of Trench. And the other Niners were also from the album of Trench, which they each represent a different part of Tyler and who is insecure, parts of his insecurities. So, Nico is overall all of the Niners combined into one, so he's the worst of them. And then he had there's 8 other bishops, which Carver is the bishop of love. She's represents heartbreak and the betrayal of love. You have Andre, who is the bishop of conformity, which is just repeating the same thing day in and day out. You have
Wait. So Carver is from the song Tear in My Heart, when you said Andre.
Andre is from Fairly Local, yeah. And so all the bishops get what they represent out of what the song is about. So on the album of Blurry Face.
Blurry Face, yeah.
Yeah. So Liston is from the song Polarize, from the lyric All I Feel Is Denial. He's the bishop of denial, denying one's problems. You have Keons, who is the bishop of the song Heavy Dirty Soul, which is about wanting to be saved but not knowing how to ask to be saved. You have Riesdro from the song Doubt, which is he's the bishop of doubt.
Basically.
And then you have Carver from Tear in My Heart, the bishop of love and heartbreak that goes along with it. Nils is the bishop of the song Goner, and he represents the empty feeling of numbness and feeling there's nothing else. Vedemo is from Lane Boy, and he is the bishop of stress. And then you have Listo from Ride, who is the bishop of wanting to protect people but not knowing how to.
So basically, on this first album, the fans didn't really know about a storyline. But the fans, and from what the band has told us, we started piecing together the context of clues and like started getting the story down from their latest album Trench which was released in 2018.
Yeah, October 2018. After the band took a 1-year break from making music and left from the internet altogether.
Mm-hmm.
But they came back through a series of letters on a website known. They came back through a series of letters that they posted on this website, which is dmaorg.info, and these letters followed a character known as Clancy, who is trying to escape Dima and get out into the beyond world of Trench.
Who serves under the bishop or Niner Keons, who is the bishop of wanting to ask for help but being unable to ask for it, which really fits Clancy's character and was really strategic planning from Tyler and Josh.
So, the website that the Clancy letters were posted on was first discovered on the Vessel page of the 21 Pilots merch store. So, people searched up this link, leading them to a website that showed some of Clancy's letters. So, in Clancy's first letter, he talked about how he's currently in Dima and how he wants to leave Dima. And he explains Keons and how he's always liked to serve Keons, who Keons has a way with keeping people in Dima by convincing them that it's for the good of them to stay. But on this website, letters were constantly being put up until the last letter was from January 22nd, 2019. But this is Clancy's story about how he's escaped Dima. And in the end, he does end up back in the city. So, but he escaped once. And he actually saw, he writes in one of his letters about how he saw the events of one of their music videos, Jumpsuit.
Which is a notable song because throughout these letters you can find a list of clues like leading to the phrase "East is up," which is in the song Jumpsuit, where
Nico and the Niners.
No, it's Nico and the Niners. Oof.
Yeah.
Where basically they just keep repeating "East is up" as a way to escape Dima, because if we haven't said this already, Dima is basically a city of depression and people want to get out, but there's no way out for them. But people who have gotten out are known as
Banditos.
Banditos, there we go. And one really cool thing is that the Niners are said to not be able to see the color yellow, which a lot of people know symbolizes the color of happiness. And so they wear green jackets, and then they put yellow duct tape on their jacket, which is kind of weird, but it's, if you really think about it, it's what the Banditos have to work with. So they find this yellow tape, they get a green jacket, they escape Dima, and then they meet up with some other rebels, and they're trying to take down Dima. And that's the basic storyline. I mean, we also have, like, going back, we have Niners, bishops, we have the people who work under the bishops. Oh, do you want to mention vialism?
Oh, vialism is this forced religion upon the people of Dima. So, whenever people make it to Dima, they are forced to worship under this religion of vialism, which is the worshipping of neon lights. And neon in this world is pretty interesting because
we have the song Neon Gravestones.
Mm-hmm. And neon's the heatless fire, which the bishops hate fire. The Banditos are constantly carrying on torches and lighting cars on fire and just starting fire wherever they go. Because
the fire basically represents being able to have, like, the control. Like, lighting, like we use in our world, we have control of that. We just flick it on and off. But fire, the bishops cannot control, which is why Banditos use fire, because bishops cannot control them, while vialism focuses on the art, like the way of bishops being able to control the light.
Yeah, the bishops just want to, it's their way of being in control of everybody, all the citizens of Dima.
Which goes back to more symbolism of they control people's happiness.
Yeah. And So vialism's this thing that some people are just, they like to worship it because that's all they've ever known. But in the music video for Nico and the Knives, which is part 2 in a story, which is part 2 of a music video story, starting with Jumpsuit, then goes Nico and the Niners, then Levitate. But in Nico and the Niners, you can see the bishops, the 9 bishops, worshipping the neon light while the banditos are trying to help people out of the city of Dima at this time because everybody's distracted. Which is actually when Clancy manages to escape, is during this music video. So the banditos take in their torches and they march into the city and take people out with them who are ready to be saved. And the bishops are not happy with this. So at the end of the music video, Tyler's the main character in this video. So the Jumpsuit, Nico and the Knives, and Levitate shows the story of Tyler's escape from Dima. So it starts where Tyler's out in Trench, which is the world just beyond Dima. Which, it's not our world, which is a happiness world, but it's not depression either. It's just the in-between middle ground.
Yeah, it's a state of in-between. It's a state of escape from where, like, they can escape from it, but they're also easily brought back in if they are caught by a bishop or a diner.
Yeah, if they're ever pulled back in through their insecurities and...
We should probably mention how the bishops and the Niners can, like, keep everyone... Because obviously, if it's a town of depression, like, why don't you just leave, you know? Like, why are you staying there? Why are you doing this to yourself?
Yeah, the bishops are good at keeping people in because they trick people into thinking it's their home. In Clancy's letters, he wrote about how he does not feel like Dima's his home, but later in another letter, he mentions Dima as his home. And he goes off on a little tangent about if he just called that place home and why he'd call that place home when it's not where he wants to be. Because he feels as though his home should be out in Trench. And Keon's is really good at keeping people in because he is the bishop of wanting to be saved but not knowing how to call out for it. So he tricks people into thinking that he's good and he's going to help them, but in reality he just turns on them and keeps them in this city of depression.
It's mentioned and kind of hinted that Nico, the bishop of all of the weaknesses combined, is really tough and he doesn't back down, that's how he's controlling, because he's has so much power that he basically just hits you with it and, like, doesn't back down. While Keon's, on the other hand, since he is just trying to manipulate you and getting you back, he pretends or acts like he is going to help you since you can't ask for anyone else's help. And that's how, when Clancy escapes, Keon's gets him back into the city of Dima.
Yeah, Clancy wrote about how Keon's came up to him as he was wandering out through Trench, and he, quote-unquote, said, Clancy, my child, let's go home. And Clancy just went along with it because he was fearful of this beyond world, because it was new to him, and he's never experienced this world before, and felt the safety back in Dima where everything's laid out for him. But, another thing is, Tyler mentions on the album of Blurry Face that in the song Goner, there's the lyric, I've got 2 faces, Blurry's the one I'm not. And so Blurry Face is Nico. That's Nico's name, which is discovered in the next album. Mm-hmm. But Tyler, the next line after I've got 2 faces, Blurry's the ones I'm not, is I need your help to take him out. So Tyler is asking for help to take Blurry Face out, but he does not know how to take Blurry Face out, because Blurry Face is this very powerful figure over him. And throughout their most recent album, Trench, they talk about how Tyler wants to escape from Dima but does not know how. And
wait, Tyler? Do you mean Clancy?
No, Tyler.
No, Tyler? Okay.
Tyler on Trench. Throughout the songs.
Yeah.
Like, leave the city. He's actually singing about the city of Trench. He wants to leave Trench. Mm-hmm. Not to go back to Dima, but to go to the world where he's fine, mentally fine, not in a state between being fine and not being fine.
So you're saying in that one, which is really confusing, because it sounds like he's talking about leaving Trench, but the whole album, it's like he wants to leave Dima. So you're saying that in that song, he wants to leave both?
He wants to leave both behind and make it out to the outside world.
but his bandito brothers.
So, the second member of the band, Josh, he's actually the leader of the Banditos who plans the escape of all the Banditos, which they live in the city of Trench, which is in Trench. Mm-hmm. Very confusing. But in this city, they don't really have any rules because they don't want to be under control of... Because they come from Dima, which is a place where they're completely under control and have no control of their action. So, Tyler also wants to leave that city because he's not so deep down to the point where he's in Dima, but he's also not too well to the point that he's free from his insecurities. So, throughout the album, it starts with Jumpsuit, where he starts by talking about how he's free, he's out in Trench. He has his jumpsuit, which is the green jacket with yellow duct tape on it to protect him. And, but then the album ends with Leave the City, where he says, and the final lyrics are, "Last year, I needed change of pace, couldn't take the pace of change, moving hastily. But this year, though I'm far from home, in Trench I'm not alone, these faces facing me." So, in that lyric, he's speaking about how, even though he's not home, which is where he wants to be in this world, he's not alone in Trench either, where he has all the Banditos with him.
Yeah. It's a hard to explain song without listening to it and going through the album and the storyline. So I would suggest listening through their songs, but we can still talk about the backstory.
We can.
We haven't mentioned Ned at all.
Oh, Ned's an interesting character. So Ned was introduced to the world on the release of one of their singles known as Chlorine, which
is also in the Trench album.
Mm-hmm. It's on the album of Trench. So in this story, on the music video, Chlorine, there's a character. His name's Ned. Ned's an acronym for Neuro Expansion Device. So
wonderful. What does that mean?
It's just the thinking. It's just thinking. But he represents Tyler's creativity. And in this song, he sings about how he's drinking chlorine, which...
He does not mean literally.
No, not literally. He's drinking figurative chlorine, which... Chlorine is, it's a cleaning agent, but it's also poison. So, it's not the best for him, but it also cleans him, so...
It's supposed to represent, like, the goodness of it, because it is cleansing him, and it's making him feel better, but at the same time, it's poisoning him, so it's hurting him.
Yeah. And, Ned is introduced in this video, and throughout the video, Tyler and Josh are filling up a pool with chlorine, and trying to get Ned to jump in the pool.
And let's just mention this. Ned kind of looks like if you took, like, a big, fat, stuffed teddy bear, and then you painted it white. Don't actually paint it white, because that's gross. But it's painted white, and then it has, like...
He has horns.
Deer antlers.
He does grow deer antlers. It just starts with tiny horns at first.
And he has, like, probably regular deer ears as well. And then he has these huge eyes that are just pitch black, and it's really creepy but cute at the same time. It's really confusing. I don't understand.
He's very interesting character, but Tyler and Josh are trying to get his attention, so they keep filling up this pool with chlorine. They start off with a little hose and eventually work their way up using more chlorine, driving truckloads of chlorine just to fill up this pool. And at the end of the video, Ned jumps in the pool and sits with the and swims in the chlorine, and it cleans Ned. He grows antlers, which I don't really know what that represents.
Yeah, we can't explain that one yet, sadly.
But yeah, he grows antlers, and he just keeps swimming until the very end of the video, where the pool's now empty and Tyler is sitting in the pool, and Josh hands him a cup of chlorine. He's sitting next to Ned, and Tyler refuses to drink this chlorine, so he tries to give it to Ned, and Ned does not want the chlorine. So maybe there's just a bit too much chlorine in the pool for Ned.
Just a bit too much. He only swims in it. He doesn't drink it.
Yeah. But Ned was actually also seen in their most recent music video, The Hype.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the audience wearing a flannel shirt just being held.
Very cleverly put in there. Whereas in his own music video, Chlorine, it's like him and he's walking around, he's jumping around, he's swimming, so he's like definitely real. While as in the Hype music video, he's kind of more of like an Easter egg that's easy to notice, where he's just like kind of chilling as one girl hugs him. It was very clever to put him in that way, and I think you said you read a story about the girl who was like, I got to hold Ned.
Yeah. She went and posted about how happy she was. For the music video process, she actually got a hold of stuffed Ned, and then they edited Ned in post-production because he's CGI.
And then they gave her the Ned.
They let her keep the Ned stuffed animal. So that was great. They had all their fans come out to help record, not all their fans, but they had groups of fans come out to help record that video. So that's their most recent video.
One thing about 21 Pilots is how inclusive they are. For like that one music video, they had their fans come in and they allowed them to be part of the music video. They even allowed that girl to take the Ned home. So if you're looking for an inclusive band like 21 Pilots, where like they don't have one genre, they mix it up. They are a very inclusive band to like all types of music. And they're just...
From one song, it'll be hard rock, the next will be rap, and then you got a song just on the ukulele.
And then
just
you got soft piano.
You got soft piano, and then you have electronic sound to them. You have the more pop-sounding songs. They're every genre in one.
So if you're interested in like a lot of different music tastes, I suggest trying out 21 Pilots. Josh and Tyler are really awesome people who... are really nice. Like, they're really weird, don't get me wrong. They post really weird things on the internet, but at the same time they're really cool people, and
they're pretty good influences. They don't post anything bad. They keep everything very nice and family friendly as well.
One of their ongoing themes throughout the band is like, even if you have depression, even if you're going through a hard time, it's just to stay alive.
That's the message in many of their songs, and many of what they're trying to say is just stay alive. Tyler has said multiple times that it's worth it to stay alive, and he just wants everybody else to stay alive as well.
So if that's anything you can take from this podcast, I'd say go listen to 21 Pilots, because they're an awesome band, and I hope you won't regret it. All right, see you guys in the next one.